Now faith, in the sense in which I am here using the word, is the art of holding on to things your reason has once accepted in spite of your changing moods. Poor moods will change, whatever view your reason takes. I know that by experience. Now that I am a Christian, I do have moods in which the whole thing looks very improbable. But when I was an atheist, I had moods in which Christianity looked terribly probable. That is why faith is such a necessary virtue. Unless you teach your moods where they get off, you can never be either a sound Christian or even a sound atheist, but just a creature dithering to and fro, with its beliefs really dependent on the weather and the state of its digestion. Consequently, one must train the habit of faith. When you are behaving as if you loved someone, you will presently come to love him. If you injure someone you dislike, you will find yourself disliking him more. If you do him a good turn, you will find yourself disliking him less. There is, indeed, one exception. If you do him a good turn, not to please God and obey the law of charity, but to show him what a fine, forgiving chap you are, and to put him in your debt, you will probably dislike him more than ever. But whenever we do good to another self, just because it is a self, made like us by God, and desiring its own happiness as we desire ours, we shall have learned to love a little more, or, at least, to dislike a little less.
Lewis reframes faith not as blind assent, but as disciplined fidelity to reasoned conviction. He identifies the volatility of mood as the true adversary of belief, not logic, not science, not doubt itself, but the instability of the human temperament. For Lewis's faith functions as an epistemic anchor, mooring the intellect against the tempests of emotion and circumstance. To believe is not to deny reason, but to preserve its conclusions when the imagination turns mutinous. His language, the weather and the state of its digestion, demystifies the process, treating spiritual inconsistency as a psychological weakness rather than an intellectual one. Faith, then, is the deliberate practice of steadiness, a refusal to let transient feelings overrule what the mind has once judged to be true. In the second passage, Lewis extends faith into the domain of moral psychology, linking it to action rather than sentiment. Charity, in his schema, precedes affection. The will teaches the heart. The deed trains the emotion. This inversion of the sentimental order, doing first, feeling later, suggests that faith operates in the moral sphere exactly as it does in the intellectual, as constancy through flux. To act with goodness, even when feeling cold or hostile, is, for Lewis, an act of faith in the moral structure of reality itself. Love, like belief, is not a spontaneous eruption of emotion, but a cultivated alignment of will and grace. Through the deliberate repetition of right action, the soul learns to inhabit truth until it becomes second nature, an embodied theology of consistency amid chaos.